Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to do tonight, we're going to start to break down the entire Cargill audio that I recorded while we were live streaming it. Now, this entire thing was kind of like a trash panda sandwich, but there were some really bright, shining points, and this is one of those points from Justice Gorsuch. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And this content was made possible by Vanish. I'm going to say a quick word, and then we're going to hit this. This is not your everyday range holster. This is the holster that eliminates all your excuses for not carrying your favorite freedom tool. So comfortable, in fact, they offer a guarantee you'll love it or they'll get your money back. It fits 99% of existing models, and you can carry 2 fully loaded mags in this bad boy. Just a few of the features the Vanish holster boasts. It has a no-stink material. It wicks away moisture and prevents odor, so you don't have an issue in that regard. As well, it comes in 2 sizes, 48-inch and 68-inch belts. That makes it a perfect fit for everybody, and the belt is fully adjustable. And this holster comes with the most comfortable holster you'll ever wear guarantee. If it's not the most comfortable, they've got you. Also, if you use my code right in the description box, you get 30% off of yourself, plus an additional half off of the next one for your friend or family. Vanish wants to hook you and your family members up. Not only if you click on the link in the description box below do you get 30% off for one for yourself, but you also get an additional one for 50% off the already discounted price. It's right down there in the description box, and act now so you can not only prepare yourself, but also your family and friends with this holster. All right, everybody, listen. We sat through on a live stream today to go through and basically make marks and notes of where things of note were to be brought up, basically highlights for your reference. What I'm about to show you is another justice who's been kind of a sleeper, who has delivered exceptionally well during the Chevron deference case. We covered it. But Gorsuch just did some amazingly strong statements today because he pointed to the actual problem of the ATF and the executive authority overreaching their bounds. I'm going to play 3 clips for you. They're all pretty short, and then we're going to break it down. But check this out. This is the first one. Of course, let me know what you guys think, because we got a bunch of this to do.
But we're dealing with a statute that was enacted in the 1930s. And through many administrations, the government took the position that these bump stocks are not machine guns. And then you adopted an interpretive rule, not even a legislative rule, saying otherwise, that would render between 250,000 and 500,000 people federal felons. And not even through an APA process they could challenge, subject to 10 years in federal prison. And the only way they can challenge it is if they're prosecuted. And they may well wind up dispossessed of guns, all guns in the future, as well as a lot of other civil rights, including the right to vote.
So the reason that I led off with this one, because he's about to go into Congress, the reason that I led with this is because Gorsuch, over the cases that we've observed and we've followed and we've streamed and we've done segments on, he consistently has an underlying theme of the impacts of ATF legislation, or not legislation, ATF rules, interpretations, definitions, EPA, Chevron deference. He consistently goes to, how does that impact the smaller person? How many people did you just make felons through your arbitrary rule? He seems to have a bead on the idea that the rules and implications that these people are just making ad hoc are the ones that are going to impact people the most. That is a very good thing that I like to hear a lot in a justice. And again, we've heard this in 3 and 4 cases now that Gorsuch has been a part of. So that's kind of the setup. Now, let's get into the actual congressional allusions that he makes here. Check this out.
And I believe there were a number of members of Congress, including Senator Feinstein, who said that this administrative action forestalled legislation that would have dealt with this topic directly, rather than trying to use a nearly 100-year-old statute in a way that many administrations hadn't anticipated.
So the reason that this one was so key, and I loved to hear it, again, this whole hearing was kind of a trash panda sandwich, but when he says this, what he's basically referring to is, why did Congress not just go ahead and take this up and make a legislative action, which would circumvent the need for you to redefine and reuse a statute in a way that was differing from its origin that was made 90 years ago? He's talking about the NFA. So the reason that this is such a powerful statement is because he's doing it from a very logical perspective. Even Dianne Feinstein, who is a gun control advocate when she was alive, she even said the executive rulemaking authority that the ATF is utilizing is undermining the ability for the legislative body to take action on X item. The ATF is usurping the power of Congress. That's as close as you're going to hear in this whole hearing of that. But that's an incredibly important piece because Gorsuch is hitting on the two things. Again, one, the impact to everyday Americans, which he consistently does, and two, hitting on the fact that Congress can take care of this if the ATF and the bureaus would get out of the way. Those are two amazing things. Now, let me get to the third one and we'll wrap this bad boy up.
To fix it. Then why not do a legislative rule properly, and in which I know you did notice and comment, but it was an interpretive rule, and an interpretive rule you can more or less just issue, and you don't even have to put it in the Federal Register. I mean, maybe you do in some circumstances, but not all.
Well, Justice,
and you're creating a class of, again, between 250,000 and 500,000 people who have, in reliance on past administrations, Republican and Democrat, who said that this does not qualify under a very old statute, taken actions. And an interpretive rule, you can't even challenge an APA.
So in translation, he's basically saying, the way that you've decided to go about this is you've decided to just make interpretive rule. You've decided to make a rule and change it, and that is now the statutory authority because you decided a different word meant a different definition than it has previously in 90 years. So now there's no recourse for the everyday American. 250,000, 500,000, 10 years in prison. All of these things are pointing to the exact same catalyst and problem. The executive bureaucracies are being utilized by the executive branch, usurping the power of Congress, therefore empowering the executive branch to make legislative law and policy through the bureaucracies, and then also giving Congress a scapegoat because they don't have to deal with any tough votes so they can maintain their own power base. Understand, this is hitting at something much larger than just bump stocks, which is what I was telling you consistently. This is not a fight for bump stocks. This is a fight for the executive state and the usurpation of Congress. That's why he's hitting this, and that's why I really am liking what I'm hearing from Gorsuch a lot of the time, again, in all the cases we've covered. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you digging what he's saying? Are you picking up a theme of the same ones that I am? And I will see you on the next highlight. I'm Braden. See you later.